Growing up, Sunday dinners at Grandma's house were always the highlight of the week. The table would be filled with mouth-watering dishes that had been passed down through generations. Each recipe held a story, each bite a memory. Craving it yet? So chicken paprikash is a Hungarian dish that sounds fancy, but is basically a party in a pot for your taste buds. Imagine juicy chicken pieces slow-cooked with tender onions in a creamy sauce bursting with the warm, smoky flavor of paprika. It's served with a side of fluffy rice or noodles. Chicken paprikash really found its footing back when Chinese takeout wasn't as big of a thing. You know, back when Grandma used to put on the apron and cook for us? This dish really was the one-pot wonder. Bonus points. If your grandma used to whip this up for you, that nostalgia factor is real. A version of it still exists in Bulgarian cuisine in case you crave the it now. The Bulgarians are a little light on the paprika and center the dish on sautéed onions. Okay, creamed spinach and pearl onions didn't look the most appetizing, but trust me, it was always a hit at family dinners. Think of a rich, creamy base packed with vibrant green spinach leaves. And let's not forget the star of the show, pearl onions, that added the perfect touch of sweetness. Not only was this dinner finger-licking delicious, but it was healthy too. Jam-packed with nutrients including vitamins A, C, and K, iron, folate, potassium, and a good amount of fiber. Just don't blame me if you get flashbacks to your school cafeteria. But hey, sometimes those cafeteria classics deserve a second chance, especially when they're this delicious and healthy all at the same time. The Hungarians really killed it with dinners that shaped our childhood, because we've got another banger on the list. Hungarian goulash was everyone's favorite cozy hearty meal back in the day. Goulash is a hearty stew whipped up with tender chunks of beef simmered in a rich, savory sauce brimming with paprika. Yeah, paprika was huge back in the day. So why did this delicious dinner vanish from our dinner tables? Well, the Hungarian goulash traces back as far as the 10th century to stews eaten by the shepherds, so you can say this one might just have run its course. But hey, if you're ever craving goulash, dust off some old cookbooks and get to work because it really isn't hard to wump up. This is the perfect dish for a chilly night in, curled up on the couch with a good movie. Just be careful not to spill it on your mom's vintage tablecloth. Those things are irreplaceable. Now, Swiss steak is like a warm hug from the past. This dish is all about slow-cooked, fall-apart tender beef bathed in a tangy tomato sauce. Think slow cooker vibes, but way before slow cookers were even a thing. Now, the Swiss steak is all about patience. The longer you simmer the beef, the more melt-in-your-mouth delicious it becomes. It's also the perfect way to use up that tougher cut of meat you accidentally grabbed at the store. If you grew up thinking this dish was from Switzerland, as the name suggests, now would be a good time for me to tell you your whole life was a lie. This technique of cooking up tender meat came from England, so they're the ones to thank for this meaty goodness. I can just imagine the satisfying experience of cutting through that tender beef with minimal effort. Swiss steak, a dinnertime classic that deserves a comeback. Where do I sign the petition? Lamb might seem like a fancy restaurant thing these days, but back in the day, it was a total dinnertime MVP. Lamb stew was a fan favorite at dinner parties back in the day, and I get the hype. Imagine the combination of melt-in-your-mouth lamb and an assortment of colorful vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and peas simmered in a rich, flavorful broth just begging to be soaked with some crusty bread. This is a dish that's guaranteed to warm you up from the inside out on a chilly day. Not to mention, it's surprisingly easy to make. Perfect for those nights when you want a delicious meal without spending hours in the kitchen. Just maybe don't tell your grandma you added a sprinkle of your favorite hot sauce. Some traditions are best left untouched. Duck à l'orange marries the deep, rich flavors of duck with the sharp zestiness of oranges, a culinary duo dating back to the Renaissance, though it gained popularity in Paris in the early 20th century. This classic dish features roasted duck with a skin crisped to perfection, paired with a sweet and tangy orange sauce made from fresh orange juice, sugar, vinegar, and sometimes Grand Marnier. To perfect duck à l'orange, meticulous attention is paid to rendering the fat from the duck skin, ensuring it crisps up beautifully to contrast with the juicy meat beneath. The sauce is usually prepared separately and reduced to a luscious syrup, then drizzled over the duck just before serving to preserve its bold, vibrant flavors. This dish masterfully balances the rich, natural fat of the duck with the bright, acidic notes of citrus, showcasing refined culinary techniques. Chicken cordon bleu is a sumptuous dish composed of breaded chicken breasts stuffed with ham and cheese. Its name, cordon bleu, which translates to blue ribbon from French, hints at its esteemed origins. Thought to have started in Switzerland around the mid-20th century, it soon won over American palates. The method involves flattening chicken breasts, layering them with ham and Swiss cheese, rolling them up, covering them in breadcrumbs, and then frying or baking them until they're beautifully golden. The popularity of chicken cordon bleu in the United States was significantly driven by the rise of gourmet frozen meals in the 1970s, where it became a favorite for its ability to retain taste and texture even after freezing and reheating. Often featured at formal dinners or during special occasions in the 60s and 70s, it was prized for its crisp outer shell encasing a lusciously gooey and savory center. Steak Diane is an iconic dish featuring tender beefsteak smothered in a delectable cognac sauce, often flambéed right at your table for a touch of dining drama. Originating in mid-20th century America, this dish is named after the Roman goddess Diana. Its preparation includes pan-frying beef tenderloin and concocting a sauce from the pan juices, cognac, butter, mustard, and Worcestershire sauce. Adding a flambé enhances the rich flavors of the sauce dramatically. Steak Diane's allure was heightened by its theatrical preparation, often becoming the centerpiece of dining experiences in fine New York City restaurants such as the Drake and the Sherry Netherland, where celebrities frequently dined. Thought to have debuted in the 1950s in New York City, it quickly became a cornerstone of high-end dining. It was often served with mashed potatoes or vegetables, embodying the elegance of mid-century dining. Shepherd's pie is a homely casserole crafted with ground meat and vegetables, crowned with a layer of mashed potatoes. Originally from the United Kingdom and dating back to the late 18th century, this dish traditionally uses lamb, as the name shepherd suggests, differentiating it from cottage pie, which uses beef. The typical preparation involves sautéing ground lamb with onions, carrots, and peas, then topping it with a creamy layer of mashed potatoes and baking it until it achieves a golden color. Shepherd's pie was a dining staple in both British and American homes throughout the 1970s, offering a robust and comforting meal. It gained particular favor during the colder months, providing a warming, comforting dish perfect for family dinners or gatherings where its layered textures and flavors were particularly appreciated. Lobster Newburg, the epitome of seafood luxury, was whipped up by Ben Wenberg and became a sensation at Delmonico's restaurant in New York in the late 1870s. This dish is a creamy affair with lobster chunks sautéed in butter, then delicately married with a rich blend of egg yolks, cream, and a splash of sherry. The sherry's slight sharpness cuts through the cream, creating a signature flavor that's both rich and refined. Lobster Newburg is all about opulence, often served with a sprinkle of cayenne in a golden puff pastry shell, or alongside buttered toast. Picture the elegance of this dish being prepared right at your table, adding a dash of culinary theater to the dining experience. It was the toast of the town in upscale eateries, where its lavishness matched the plush dining trends of that era. Beef Wellington, named perhaps after the Duke of Wellington, is a marvel of British cuisine that showcases culinary artistry. Imagine beef tenderloin lovingly coated with pâté and duxelles, all wrapped in a crisp puff pastry. The precision in sealing the tenderloin tightly within the pastry, ensuring it cooks to juicy perfection while keeping the pastry flaky, is what makes or breaks this dish. Served primarily at grand dinners and special occasions, it often came accompanied by rich gravies and elegant veggies. The phrase, "a feast fit for royalty," wasn't thrown around lightly, as it perfectly captured the essence of this dish. Dining on beef Wellington typically featured a moment where it was sliced right at the table, displaying the succulent meat and intricate layers, a true feast for the senses. Its grand presentation made it a memorable part of any celebratory meal. Biscuits and sausage gravy. Okay. This southern staple might still be a thing in some parts of the country, but let's be real, biscuits and sausage gravy is definitely not dominating breakfast menus anymore. I guess waffles are to blame for that. But this breakfast legend is the perfect combination of fluffy buttermilk biscuits so light and airy they practically melt in your mouth, along with a creamy sausage gravy, rich with savory sausage and speckled with black pepper. This is a breakfast, or hey, no judgment here, even a dinner combination that's pure comfort food heaven. From the perfect hangover cure to a delicious weekend treat, biscuits and sausage gravy satisfy all cravings. Just maybe lay off the white clothes while you're indulging. That sausage gravy can be a bit enthusiastic when it comes to staining. Hear me out, this one might sound a little boring at first glance, but trust me, it's a classic for a reason. The split pea soup is a hearty, filling, and surprisingly healthy-ish, thick, creamy soup packed with vibrant green split peas and other vegetables like carrots, celery, and onions. Now, on that healthy-ish claim, it depends on how much butter and cream your grandma used. The split pea soup is the kind of soup that leaves you feeling satisfied for hours. It has been a St. Patrick's Day staple ever since its origin in 1905. The best part? You can totally customize it according to your liking. Yeah, don't be shy to throw in your favorite veggies, add a splash of lemon juice for a bit of brightness, or even some leftover shredded chicken for an extra protein punch. We really need to bring this one back. Chicken Kiev packs a punch with its chicken breasts stuffed with herbed butter, all wrapped up in a crispy breadcrumb coating. The dish stirs up a bit of a debate about its roots. Some folks reckon it was whipped up by French chefs back in the early 19th century, while others swear it was crafted by a Ukrainian chef in a Moscow kitchen in the early 20th century. Regardless of its backstory, Chicken Kiev began turning heads internationally around mid-20th century, becoming the go-to at dinner parties and special events. The traditional way to do it? Flatten those chicken breasts, tuck in a mix of butter, garlic, and herbs, roll them up, bread them, and fry to a golden brown. When sliced, the butter inside just bursts out, making a rich, flavorful sauce. By the 1960s, it had secured its spot on menus across America, often served with a side of veggies or rice. Veal Parmigiana brings a little taste of Italian-American heritage to the table, featuring breaded veal cutlets smothered in tomato sauce and melted cheese. Born in the kitchens of Italian immigrant communities in the U.S., this dish was a clever adaptation of traditional Italian recipes, tailored to American tastes. It first surfaced in the early 20th century, with Italian-American families swapping out eggplant for veal. Introduced in Italian-American eateries soon after, veal Parmigiana became a staple. The preparation? Bread those veal cutlets, fry them up, layer with marinara sauce, and a good helping of mozzarella or parmesan, then bake it until it's bubbling and golden. It hit its peak popularity in the 1950s and 1960s, often accompanied by pasta, crafting a hearty and satisfying meal. Crab Louie, also known as the King of Salads, is a classic that originated on the U.S. West Coast in the early 20th century. While its birthplace is up for debate, some say the Palace Hotel in San Francisco, others point to Solari's restaurant in Seattle. It always features Dungeness crab, hard-boiled eggs, asparagus, tomatoes, and a creamy dressing made from mayonnaise, chili sauce, and spices. Crab Louie was dubbed the King of Salads by the San Francisco Chronicle in 1914, a nod to its deluxe ingredients and popularity among the elite. It first gained traction in the 1920s and 1930s, becoming a favored dish for lighter dinners or luncheons. The mix of crisp lettuce, savory crab, and tangy dressing, served up in an elegant presentation, made it a must-have at many a high-end restaurant and social gathering. Chicken divan is all about comfort, featuring chicken and broccoli smothered in a creamy cheese sauce, baked to perfection. It originated in the early 20th century at the Divan Parisien restaurant in New York City, named for the very place that concocted it. Initially designed as a showcase of the chef's skills in French cooking, chicken divan made its mark in the mid-20th century as a dish that blended sophistication with simplicity. To make it, layer cooked chicken and broccoli in a baking dish, pour over a sauce made from butter, flour, cream, and cheese, and bake until it's golden and bubbly. This dish is a testament to the fusion of French culinary art with the comfort of American home cooking, creating a truly delightful dish. Fondue bourguignon brings everyone around the pot, where bite-sized pieces of meat are sizzled in hot oil, then dipped in various sauces. This fondue variant became all the rage in the 1960s, turning mealtime into an interactive festivity. You'd need a fondue pot, skewers, and a steady heat source to keep the oil bubbly. It's not just the taste, but the experience of cooking together that made it a hit in casual gatherings, creating a buzz of activity around the dining table. This fondue variant originated from the Burgundy region in France, traditionally using the local wines along with the oil for cooking. Safety was key though, as managing hot oil and ensuring everyone had the right tools was essential to keeping the fun times safe. Fondue bourguignon was all about community and flavor, making dining a lively part of the evening. Rumaki takes a spin through the exotic with its unusual combo of water chestnuts and chicken liver, all wrapped up in bacon. Its debut in the American tiki bars of the 1950s brought a touch of the Polynesian to cocktail parties. The liver and water chestnuts get a soak in soy sauce and ginger, then it's all bundled in bacon and baked till crisp. This appetizer is a real conversation starter, known for its bold flavors and intriguing texture contrasts. It often made its appearance speared on skewers or fancy toothpicks, making it easy to grab and enjoy. Rumaki was the star at many gatherings, adding a dash of the daring to the appetizer spread and sparking lively chats among guests. Coq au vin stands out as a rich, soul-warming dish that is achieved through a slow cooking process that melds the flavors of chicken and wine thoroughly. Traditionally used to soften tough roosters, modern recipes often utilize chicken, marinated, and then braised in wine, typically red, along with mushrooms, onions, garlic, and a bouquet garni. Initially, the chicken is seared until golden, then simmered slowly with lardons, which infuse a smoky depth. This technique showcases French braising skills, starting with a high sear followed by a gentle, prolonged cooking in a covered pot, allowing the intricate flavors to blend and enhance the meat. The selection of wine is pivotal, forming a flavorful sauce base that deeply seasons the chicken, transforming it into a hearty, deeply satisfying stew that exemplifies rustic yet refined French cooking. Crown roast of lamb is an exquisite dish often reserved for special occasions and holiday feasts. This majestic preparation involves arranging racks of lamb into a circular shape that resembles a crown, with ribs pointing skyward. It's seasoned with a mix of rosemary, garlic, and thyme, both in the marinade and as a rub applied before roasting. To enhance its flavor and retain moisture, the crown center is typically filled with a stuffing composed of breadcrumbs, minced garlic, herbs, and occasionally dried fruits like apricots or cranberries. The lamb is roasted until it achieves a tender texture and a beautifully browned exterior. Precision in tying the racks together ensures the roast cooks evenly. To perfect its presentation, chefs often cover the tips of the ribs with foil during roasting to prevent charring. This dish not only dazzles as a culinary delight, but also stands as a festive centerpiece, symbolizing celebration and feasting. Cornish game hen, a petite and elegant poultry choice, typically weighs no more than 2 pounds and is ideal for serving as an individual portion, making it perfect for an upscale dinner. These hens are usually roasted whole, seasoned lightly with herbs like thyme and sage, and basted in butter to achieve a crispy, golden skin while keeping the meat juicy and tender. The cavity may be stuffed with a flavorful blend of breadcrumbs, chopped vegetables, and herbs, enriching the meat during cooking. The cooking process often involves high-temperature roasting to crisp the skin, followed by a resting period before serving to ensure the meat remains moist. Serving Cornish game hens on a bed of wild rice or alongside roasted vegetables allows their delicate flavors to shine, making them a favored choice for intimate dining and special occasions due to their ideal portion size and visually appealing presentation. Scalloped chicken casserole. Here's another classic casserole that deserves a comeback. This dish is the perfect example of simple but mouth-watering good. I mean, just imagine tender chicken pieces in a creamy sauce, seasoned to perfection, and layered with fluffy breadcrumbs. I think I'm feeling hungry now. Scalloped chicken casserole is a great way to use up leftover chicken, and it's perfect for a quick and easy weeknight meal. Not to mention, it's a dish that's sure to please even the pickiest eaters. Who can resist creamy chicken and crispy breadcrumbs? Ditch your takeout menus for a night and take a trip down memory lane by giving this casserole a try. You can find dozens of recipes on the internet, and it won't take you hours to whip up. Trust me, your taste buds will thank you. Chicken fried steak. This classic is long gone but never forgotten. This one's pretty easy to make too. All you need is a chicken steak dredged in a seasoned flour mixture, dipped in a wet batter, and finally coated in a crispy breading. Fry till it's golden brown for the perfect dinner that'll leave you wanting more. Chicken fried steak is typically served with a creamy gravy for dipping, along with mashed potatoes and vegetables for a complete and oh-so-satisfying meal. It is basically American, and the yassified version of the Austrian dish Wiener Schnitzel, and the Italian dish cotoletta alla Milanese. Fancy names, but the same old fried chicken steak. Now I know what you're thinking. Why did this crispy golden goodness leave us too soon? Well, you can trick yourself all you want, but it's not the healthiest dinner out there. But hey, having a fried steak once in a while can't do much harm, right? Just be prepared for some finger-licking good action. This dish is messy, but in the best way possible. The tasty meat pie isn't your average store-bought pie. We're talking about a savory masterpiece filled with delicious goodness. This used to be a classic at Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners back in the day before hash brown casseroles came to take the cake. But tasty meat pies had their own beauty. Imagine a flaky golden brown crust with a filling of seasoned ground meat, chopped vegetables like carrots and peas, and a rich, flavorful gravy. The origins of the meat pie have been traced back to the Neolithic period around 6000 BC. Yeah, even the Egyptians were a fan of this classic. It's perfect for a potluck, a family dinner, or even a cozy night in. The best part? Its portability. Just grab a slice and head out the door. It's the ultimate dinner on the go. The tasty meat pie isn't your average store-bought pie. We're talking about a savory masterpiece filled with delicious goodness. This used to be a classic at Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners back in the day before hash brown casseroles came to take the cake. But tasty meat pies had their own beauty. Imagine a flaky, golden brown crust with a filling of seasoned ground meat, chopped vegetables like carrots and peas, and a rich, flavorful gravy. The origins of the meat pie have been traced back to the Neolithic period, around 6000 BC. Yeah, even the Egyptians were a fan of this classic. It's perfect for a potluck, a family dinner, or even a cozy night in. The best part? Its portability. Just grab a slice and head out the door. It's the ultimate dinner on the go. Stuffed chicken rolls. Don't you dare confuse these with Mickey D's chicken nuggets. Stuffed chicken rolls are the dinner of every kid's dream, 'cause who wouldn't want this cheesy goodness instead of some plain old broccoli soup? Imagine thin sliced chicken breasts pounded to tender perfection, and then filled with a savory mixture of seasoned ground ham and melty cheese. Stuffed chicken rolls are a great way to elevate a simple chicken breast, and they're perfect for a special occasion or a fancy weeknight dinner. They're surprisingly easy to make, so don't be intimidated by their fancy appearance. Despite its appeal, stuffed chicken rolls have become less common as people opt for simpler, quicker meals. This has to be by far one of America's greatest inventions, because even though it has vanished from dinner tables in the States, other nations around the world are devouring them. Dive into the rustic heart of France with boeuf bourguignon, a dish steeped in the history of Burgundy. This is not just any stew. It's a careful simmer of beef marinated in red wine, surrounded by mushrooms, onions, and a hint of bacon for good measure. Brought into the spotlight by none other than Julia Child, this dish has become a symbol of French culinary pride. Imagine beef, tender from a slow bath in wine, paired with a bouquet garni that infuses every bite with aromatic herbs. Served in its traditional Dutch oven, it graced many tables, especially during the chillier months, offering warmth and deep, comforting flavors. Taste the French countryside with every bite perfectly captures its essence. Simple ingredients transformed into a feast for the senses. Quiche Lorraine is like a savory poem from the Lorraine region of France, crafted from a lyrical blend of eggs, cream, and smoked bacon, all encased in a flaky pastry crust. It's a dish that tells a story of culinary evolution, from humble medieval origins to a beloved brunch classic. With each bite, the crisp pastry gives way to a velvety filling where the smokiness of bacon dances with the richness of the custard. It's a flexible star at gatherings, ready to impress whether served hot or cold. This dish was particularly embraced in the US during the 1950s when American cooks began experimenting more with international dishes. Quiche Lorraine stands out for its balance of taste and texture. It has graced cafe menus and home tables alike, often accompanied by a simple salad to cut through the decadence. Seafood Newburgh invites you to savor the ocean's bounty in a dish that marries lobster, shrimp, and scallops with a creamy, sherry-laced sauce. Born in the late 19th century, this variation of lobster Newburgh captures the essence of American seafood elegance. The preparation is a delicate operation where seafood is gently poached in butter and sherry, then draped in a rich sauce of cream and egg yolks. The result? A luxurious texture that's a symphony of creamy and briny notes, often served in puff pastry shells or beside golden toast points. Seafood Newburgh was a fixture in fine dining, offering a taste of maritime luxury that was both a visual and gastronomic delight. Eggplant Parmesan is a hearty Italian-American favorite that layers crispy breaded eggplant slices with marinara sauce and cheese. This vegetarian delight originally hails from southern Italy, known there as melanzane alla parmigiana, and made its way to American shores with Italian immigrants in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The classic approach involves slicing the eggplant, breading it, and frying it until it's just the right shade of golden brown. These crispy slices are then layered with marinara sauce and a generous helping of mozzarella or parmesan, and baked until the cheese bubbles with joy. Eggplant parmesan became a staple in meatless meal traditions, particularly appreciated during the Lenten season among Catholic families in America. Gaining a firm foothold in American-Italian eateries during the 20th century, it often comes served with a side of pasta or bread, rounding out a truly satisfying meal. Stuffed pork chops are a comforting classic, stuffed to the brim with a savory blend and often served dripping in rich gravy. This dish found its place in the hearts of Americans in the mid-20th century, particularly loved in the Midwest and southern states. The preparation starts by cutting a pocket into pork chops, which are then filled with a stuffing made from breadcrumbs, onions, celery, and herbs. Once stuffed, the chops are browned until they sport a perfect golden crust, then baked to tender perfection. A favorite for family dinners and Sunday roasts, its hearty and filling nature made it a beloved meal. Stuffed pork chops are a testament to the versatility of pork, accommodating a variety of stuffings from apples to mushrooms, allowing everyone to tailor it to their taste. Moussaka is a rich, layered Greek casserole that marries slices of eggplant with ground meat and a creamy bechamel sauce. This dish has Middle Eastern origins but was perfected in its modern form by Greek chef Nikolaos Tselementes in the early 20th century. Preparing moussaka involves frying slices of eggplant, layering them with a spicy meat mixture traditionally made with lamb or beef, and then smothering it all under a luscious bechamel sauce. Once assembled, it's baked until the top turns a tempting golden brown, offering a deep, flavorful feast. Moussaka made a name for itself in Greek cuisine and entered American dining scenes in the mid-20th century, often served with a side salad or bread for a balanced, fulfilling dinner. Veal marsala is an elegant Italian dish that features tender veal cutlets simmered in a rich marsala wine sauce. Originating in Sicily, where marsala wine has been a staple since the 18th century, this dish made a splash in Italian-American kitchens in the mid-20th century. The classic method involves lightly flouring the veal cutlets, then pan-frying them in butter until they're beautifully browned. The magic happens when the pan is deglazed with marsala wine, adding mushrooms and sometimes cream to create a sauce that's both sweet and savory. As Italian restaurants in America evolved to showcase regional specialties, veal marsala emerged as a sophisticated favorite, commonly served with pasta or potatoes to enhance the tender veal with its robust marsala sauce. Salmon kalibiak is a dish of luxury, with salmon fillet wrapped in puff pastry, along with rice and mushrooms, originating from Russia where it's known as kulebyaka. The name stems from the Russian word for a type of rich, filled pie. The traditional setup lays a seasoned salmon fillet on a bed of cooked rice and mushrooms, then envelops it in puff pastry, which bakes to a golden flakiness. This dish became popular in the banquet menus of European royalty and was featured in several Russian novels. Celebrated in France during the 19th century and beloved for special occasions, salmon kalibiak is often served with vegetables or a light salad. The blend of ingredients inside the pastry creates a sophisticated, hearty meal that showcases the culinary crossover between Russian robustness and French finesse. Pork belly with cracklings is celebrated for its luxurious flavors and contrasting textures derived from the rich layers of meat and fat found in pork belly. The preparation process starts with scoring the skin and massaging it with a blend of salt, pepper, and aromatic herbs or spices to infuse flavor. The meat is slow roasted at a low temperature to render the fat and tenderize the meat, followed by a blast of high heat to crisp the skin into cracklings. This approach ensures the pork belly stays succulent, while the outer skin turns deliciously crisp. Often served sliced thickly and accompanied by applesauce or a cider reduction, this dish perfectly pairs the pork's richness with a touch of sweet acidity. The allure of pork belly with cracklings lies in the depth of its flavors and the satisfying interplay of tender meat with crispy skin. Oysters Rockefeller consists of succulent oysters on the half shell, topped with a rich buttery mixture of finely chopped herbs and breadcrumbs, then baked or broiled until golden. Originating in 1899 at Antoine's in New Orleans, one of America's historic restaurants, the dish's exact recipe remains a secret but typically includes spinach, celery, and sometimes an anise-flavored liqueur, creating a luxurious topping. The oysters are gently poached in their shells to retain moisture, then crowned with this seasoned blend. After assembling, they are broiled until the topping bubbles and browns slightly, offering a delightful contrast in textures between the creamy, tender oyster and the crisp, flavorful topping. Oysters Rockefeller is not only a treat for the palate, but also a creative celebration of local ingredients, elevating the simple oyster to a decadent culinary experience. Rabbit stew is a beloved traditional dish in various cultures, renowned for its hearty and comforting nature. This stew typically features tender pieces of rabbit slow-cooked with onions, garlic, and aromatic herbs like rosemary or thyme, which subtly enhance the mild flavor of the rabbit. Additional vegetables such as carrots, celery, and potatoes often join the mix, creating a robust, one-pot meal. The stewing liquid, usually wine or stock, enriches the dish, lending depth and complexity as it simmers. Rabbit meat, known for its leanness and delicacy, benefits greatly from the slow cooking process, becoming incredibly tender and infused with the rich flavors of the broth and vegetables. Rabbit stew is especially appreciated during the colder months or in rural settings where rabbit is a common game meat. Chicken marengo holds a storied place in culinary history, famously prepared for Napoleon after the Battle of Marengo. This dish encapsulates the essence of victorious improvisation using local ingredients available at the time. Chicken marengo starts with chicken pieces sautéed in olive oil, braised with onions, garlic, and tomatoes, enriched by a splash of white wine that deglazes the pan, forming a robust sauce. Later additions often include mushrooms, and traditionally, it was garnished with fried eggs and crayfish, though these are less common today. The slow simmering melds all the flavors beautifully, allowing the tomatoes to break down and create a rich, savory sauce that complements the tender chicken perfectly. This dish exemplifies French provincial cooking, utilizing straightforward techniques and local ingredients to produce a dish rich in history and flavor. Stuffed peppers. Forget those boring pre-made things you see at the grocery store because stuffed peppers are here to save the day. We're talking about the beautiful bell peppers Grandma made on Thanksgiving. Vibrant red, yellow, or orange peppers are hand-picked and carefully hollowed out and then stuffed with a flavorful mixture of fluffy rice, seasoned ground meat, and your choice of chopped vegetables. Once stuffed, These peppers are baked to perfection until they are tender and crisp. Now, this isn't just a casual meal. Whipping up a stuffed pepper might make you feel like a master chef in the kitchen. It's also a great way to use up leftover rice and ground meat. Bonus points. If you use their visual appeal to trick your children into getting their daily dose of veggies. Yeah, the little ones don't really go for the green peppers on the table, but they might just love these stuffed peppers. You might even add some cheese to top it off. Unfortunately, it is one of those dishes that has faded from many dinner tables. Remember when your mom used to whip you up lunch for school along with a heartfelt note and a sweet treat? Meat and potato patties were a staple back in the day and a hit in the lunchbox. If you've got some leftover mashed potatoes lying around, you've got to try these. Yeah, these are basically patties made out of mashed potatoes combined with seasoned ground meat, shaped into little discs, and fried till golden brown. They pair perfectly with ketchup, your favorite dipping sauce, or even a dollop of sour cream for a tangy twist. Meat and potato patties are the ultimate finger food that is still a hit to this day. Well, with McDonald's French fries on the rise, these really don't make an appearance that often, but you can whip these patties up anytime. They're surprisingly easy to make. Just give your mom a call and ask for the recipe. Back in the 1950s, the Divan Parisian restaurant at Chatham Hotel in New York City gave birth to its signature dish, the chicken divan casserole. This mouth-watering dish soon found its way to all our homes, and I'm not complaining. It's made of tender chicken pieces nestled amongst vibrant green broccoli florets in a rich and creamy sauce, topped with a generous layer of melty cheese and a sprinkle of crispy breadcrumbs. The chef who leaked this recipe out to the public really took one for the team, and we can never thank him enough. It's the perfect combination of protein, veggies, and all the cheesy goodness your heart desires. Just maybe pair it with a side salad to pretend you're being healthy. Chicken divan casserole is the retro dish of every cheese lover's dreams, and you know what that calls for? A comeback. It's a classic at throwback parties, but you don't really need an excuse to cook this up. A typical Tuesday night works too. Galantine of chicken is a testament to the elaborate artistry of classical French cuisine, popularized in the 17th century. It involves a meticulous process where a whole chicken is deboned and stuffed with a seasoned mix of ground meat, fats, and spices, including luxurious touches like pistachios and truffles. The chicken is then encased back within its skin, poached in a flavorful stock and set to cool, often in the gelatin-rich cooking liquid, to form a jelly. Decorated with artistic slices of vegetables, herbs, or edible flowers and coated in a glistening aspic, galantine is served cold, making it a striking centerpiece for buffets and banquets. This dish not only showcases the culinary craftsmanship of detailed butchery and seasoning, but also the aesthetic presentation. Lamb shanks epitomize the rich flavors and tender textures celebrated in Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cuisines. Prized for their gelatin-rich connective tissue, lamb shanks transform through slow cooking into melt-in-your-mouth tenderness. The preparation starts with searing the shanks to a golden brown, locking in flavors through caramelization, then braising them slowly in a mix of wine, stock, and aromatics like onions, carrots, and celery, enhanced with herbs such as rosemary and thyme. This method not only tenderizes the meat, but also infuses it with a robust blend of flavors. Typically, the dish is finished with a sprinkle of gremolata, adding a fresh burst of lemon, garlic, and parsley that cuts through the richness. The braised liquid serves as a deeply flavored sauce, reduced to intensify its taste, complementing the richness of the lamb with a perfect balance of flavors. Blackened redfish made waves in the 1980s thanks to Chef Paul Prudhomme's magic in the kitchen. This dish is a fiery delight, featuring a fillet of redfish seasoned with a robust blend of Cajun spices, then seared to crispy perfection in a screaming hot skillet. The spices create a charred crust, locking in the fish's moisture and flavor, resulting in a dish that's both spicy and smoky. Typically served with a squeeze of fresh lemon and simple sides like steamed veggies or fluffy rice, it balances the heat with fresh, zesty notes. This preparation technique was so popular that it significantly contributed to the overfishing of redfish, leading to fishing restrictions to protect the species. Chicken marbella is a dish that echoes the culinary creativity of the 1980s. Born from the pages of The Silver Palette Cookbook by Julie Rosso and Sheila Lukens. This recipe blends sweet prunes and tangy capers with olives and a generous splash of white wine, creating a medley that marries sweet with savory in an unforgettable way. Garnished with parsley, it not only tastes divine, but also looks gorgeous on a plate. Perfect for dinner parties, it allows hosts to prep ahead, marinate overnight, and simply bake before serving, making entertaining seem effortless. Its exotic mix of ingredients brought a touch of the Mediterranean to American tables, perfectly aligning with the decade's thrill for bold, worldly flavors. Chicken marbella was a fashionable choice for gatherings, seamlessly integrating into the trend of sophisticated yet easy-to-prepare dishes. Lamb Navarin is a traditional French stew that sings of spring, packed with tender lamb and fresh spring vegetables. Originating from Normandy, this dish is best when the ingredients are at their peak freshness, typically prepared in the spring. The name Navarin itself is inspired by the French word for turnip, navette, a staple in this hearty stew. The process starts by browning the lamb to perfection, then slow cooking it with turnips, carrots, onions, and potatoes in a flavorful broth until everything is tender and infused with flavor. Lamb Navarin is a dish that really captures the essence of spring, highlighting both the succulence of the lamb and the sweetness of the fresh vegetables. It's commonly served with crusty bread or a side of rice, making it a fulfilling and comforting meal. Coquille Saint-Jacques is a dish that exudes elegance, featuring scallops baked in a creamy sauce and often served right in their shells. This dish's charming name, which translates to St. James's shells, nods to St. James, the patron saint of pilgrims, and references the pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. To prepare it, scallops are gently sautéed in butter, then bathed in a sauce crafted from white wine, cream, and shallots. The final touch is a sprinkle of breadcrumbs before baking until the top turns a tempting golden brown. This dish offers a delightful exploration of scallops' delicate and sweet flavors, beautifully enhanced by the creamy sauce. Coquille Saint-Jacques has long been a fixture at festive dinners where its refined and sophisticated character is a favorite. Stovetop goulash, an American twist on the Hungarian classic, offers a hearty blend of ground beef, tomatoes, bell peppers, and onions, all simmered with a smoky touch of paprika. This one-pot wonder is a staple in homes needing a warm, comforting meal without a fuss. The ease of preparation makes it perfect for busy weeknights, with everything cooked in one pot for simplicity and flavor infusion. Often served over noodles or rice, it's a satisfying dish that fills the belly and warms the heart. This version of goulash became a go-to for families looking for a filling, flavorful meal that could easily be adapted to different tastes or whatever ingredients were on hand, ensuring that this humble, robust dish was a frequent sight in many households. Frito pie is a quintessential comfort food from the Southwest, where chili, cheese, and Fritos come together in a crunchy, creamy, spicy mix that's utterly irresistible. Originating from the inventive kitchens of the Southwest, Frito pie can be traced back to the 1930s when it was served in Frito's creator Charles Doolin's cafe in San Antonio, Texas. This no-frills, laid-back dish is often assembled right in a Frito's bag, layered with steaming chili and topped with shredded cheese that melts into gooey perfection. It's a popular fixture at sporting events, fairs, and casual gatherings, embodying a spirit of easy enjoyment and good times. The combination of textures and flavors, crisp Fritos, hearty chili, and creamy cheese, makes it a beloved snack that's both satisfying and fun. Spinach dip became a party favorite in the late 20th century, renowned for its creamy, indulgent texture that pairs beautifully with crunchy vegetables or crisp bread. This dip combines spinach, sour cream, and mayonnaise with chopped water chestnuts and green onions, offering a rich dip that's both refreshing and hearty. Spinach dip's popularity soared when it became a go-to recipe in the California dip craze, further cemented by easy-to-follow recipes printed on soup mix packets. Often served in a bread bowl for added flair, it became a centerpiece at many gatherings. Its ease of preparation made it popular for holiday parties and casual get-togethers, where hosts appreciated its universal appeal and the minimal effort required. The dip's creamy texture and rich flavor make it a comforting choice, particularly loved during festive seasons when rich, flavorful appetizers take center stage. Swedish meatballs, or köttbullar, are more than a culinary export from Sweden. They are a staple of comfort food worldwide, especially popularized by IKEA's cafeterias. These meatballs are a mix of beef and pork, seasoned with allspice and nutmeg, and served in a creamy gravy alongside lingonberry jam for a hint of sweetness. This dish was introduced to a broader American audience at the 1939 New York World's Fair and gained further popularity through IKEA's global stores. It's a winter warmer, ideal for cold days, providing a satisfying meal that comforts with every spoonful. The spices give it a distinctive character that sets it apart from other meatball recipes, making it memorable for its taste and simplicity. At gatherings, Swedish meatballs serve as a hearty, welcoming dish that brings a taste of Swedish hospitality to any table. Corned beef and cabbage is a culinary icon of Irish-American heritage, particularly cherished on St. Patrick's Day. This hearty dish features salt-cured beef brisket, slow-cooked with cabbage, carrots, and potatoes, infusing the vegetables with rich, meaty flavors. The term corned comes from the large salt grains used in the curing process. Historically, it's a modified version of the Irish bacon and cabbage, adapted by Irish immigrants in America who found corned beef to be a cheaper alternative. This meal is often the centerpiece at festive gatherings. Served family-style, it encourages sharing and togetherness, making it perfect for communal settings where food is a focal point for connection and celebration. Peach chicken became popular in the 1970s, aligning with an American trend of integrating fruit into savory dishes. This recipe combines the natural sweetness of peaches with the savory depth of chicken, creating a delightful contrast. Browned chicken pieces are simmered with fresh or canned peaches, with ginger and cinnamon adding a layer of spice that complements the sweetness. Additional peach preserves or syrup can be added to enrich the sauce, deepening the dish's flavor profile. A splash of bourbon or brandy is sometimes included, lending a smoky nuance. The sauce is typically thickened with a cornstarch slurry, producing a glossy finish that adheres beautifully to the chicken. This dish illustrates the versatility of chicken as a canvas for flavor, adeptly marrying the sweet with the savory in a uniquely American culinary experiment. Tornados Rossini is an indulgent reflection of haute cuisine, named after the gourmet aficionado and renowned composer Gioacchino Rossini. Crafted by the legendary chef Auguste Escoffier in Paris, this dish features a medallion of beef tenderloin, cooked in butter and crowned with a slice of sumptuous foie gras. Resting on a crouton that soaks up the juices, the tornados is lavished with a rich Madeira demi-glace that's infused with truffles and finished with butter, then garnished with fresh truffle slices. The preparation of this dish demands precision. The beef tenderloin seared to perfection, the foie gras just melting, and the sauce richly coating each component. Tornados Rossini not only showcases the luxury of its ingredients, but also the skill in combining them to deliver a dish that is as opulent in taste as it is in history. Minted lamb with jelly brings together the rich, robust flavors of roasted lamb with the refreshing zest of mint jelly, making it a quintessential British dish often featured during spring and Easter celebrations. The long-standing tradition of pairing mint with lamb dates back to medieval England, where the herb's sprightly flavor was used to complement the lamb's slight gaminess. The preparation typically involves roasting a leg or shoulder of lamb, seasoned liberally with salt, pepper, and often aromatic garlic and rosemary, ensuring the meat is juicy and tender. The mint jelly, a blend of mint, sugar, and vinegar, offers a sweet and tangy counterpoint that enhances the meat's deep flavors. This dish exemplifies the classic British culinary technique of marrying robust meat with a vibrant, acidic condiment to create a balanced and satisfying dining experience. The ground beef veggie stew is the perfect combination of simple ingredients and a big flavor. This dinner dish is a budget-friendly and nutritious dinner option made with ground beef and a variety of vegetables. Plus, it's a great way to use up any leftover vegetables you might have hanging out in your fridge. You can customize this stew to your liking. Throw in some chopped potatoes for extra starch, or add a splash of your favorite hot sauce for a kick. Ground beef, Veggie stew is a classic comfort food that's easy to make, but let's be honest, it's vanishing from our tables because it can't compete with the modern options. You know, like the Crunch Wrap Supreme from Taco Bell. I bet Taco Bell doesn't remind you of your grandma and your cousins, though. Don't you love low-effort foods where you can just throw in the ingredients and let your slow cooker do all the work? Well, you would have loved festive slow-cooked beef tips. As the name suggests, this one was a favorite at festive dinner parties and people couldn't stop raving about it. It's very simple, too. Tender beef tips simmered low and slow in a savory sauce brimming with flavor. You can customize the sauce to your liking. Add some red wine for a touch of sophistication, or maybe ranch if you aren't feeling fancy. No judgment here. Festive slow-cooked beef tips are perfect for a busy weeknight or a casual weekend gathering. Just pop it in the slow cooker before you head out the door and come home to a delicious meal waiting for you. Cheesy ham chowder. This creamy soup is a winter wonderland in a bowl. Imagine tender chunks of ham in a rich and creamy broth loaded with potatoes, carrots, and other colorful vegetables. The secret weapon of this chowder? The generous amount of melty cheese takes the flavor to a whole new level. This soup is like your best friend on snow days. It's also a great way to use up leftover ham from the holidays. Just be careful not to burn your tongue. This cheesy chowder is addictive. This dish might sound fancy, but don't let the French name fool you. Chicken a la king is a creamy and delicious casserole that's surprisingly easy to make. Yeah, tender chicken pieces in a rich cream sauce with mushrooms, peas, and pimientos? Count me in. This casserole is typically served over rice or toast and is a reminder that classics never truly goes out of style. It's just not as popular as it was back in the day because you know what they say, all good things come to an end. But chicken a la king doesn't have to. It's too good to become a memory of the past. So, next time you're looking for a nostalgic and delicious meal, give this dish a try. Cajun chicken captures the essence of Louisiana's vibrant culinary scene, known for its bold spices and hearty dishes. This dish involves coating chicken pieces in a mixture of paprika, cayenne, garlic, and onion powders, then cooking to achieve a spicy, crispy exterior while keeping the inside juicy. It's often served with sides that complement its robust flavors, like dirty rice or sautéed greens. Cajun chicken rose to popularity as diners began to embrace regional American cuisines, seeking authentic, flavor-packed meals. This chicken dish is a favorite in casual and fine dining establishments alike, particularly those specializing in Southern and Cajun flavors, where its spicy kick and savory depth are celebrated. The intense flavor profile of Cajun chicken makes it a standout choice for those looking to enjoy a meal that's both rich in taste and cultural heritage. Shrimp cocktail, a timeless starter, features succulently chilled shrimp paired with a tangy cocktail sauce that zings with horseradish and ketchup. It's the kind of appetizer that graced many a cocktail hour and dinner party, known for its simplicity and elegance. The preparation is straightforward yet precise. Boil shrimp with a touch of lemon and spices, then chill them to lock in their juicy flavor. Presented often in a martini glass, the shrimp elegantly hang over the rim with sauce for dipping in the center, making it not just a dish, but a centerpiece. This classic was especially popular in upscale settings, perfect for whetting the appetite without overshadowing the main course. Its perfect balance of fresh seafood with a spicy kick of sauce made it a beloved choice at many festive and formal occasions. Turkey scallopini with marsala sauce lightens up the traditional Italian scallopini with turkey, offering a tender, flavorful alternative. This dish involves thin slices of turkey, lightly dredged in flour and sautéed to golden perfection. The marsala wine sauce, enriched with mushrooms and a splash of chicken stock, adds a luxurious depth of flavor that complements the mild turkey beautifully. Finished with a pat of butter for richness, the sauce is silky and aromatic, making each bite a delightful experience. Often garnished with parsley and served alongside pasta or potatoes, it's a dish that brings a bit of Italian finesse to the table. It became a favored choice in eateries that cherish European flair, providing a sophisticated yet accessible meal that's perfect for a special dinner without the heaviness of red meat. Hawaiian pork roast with pineapple is a vibrant dish that marries the flavors of sweet pineapple and savory pork. The dish's preparation involves marinating the pork in a blend of soy sauce, garlic, and brown sugar, then slow roasting it with pineapple slices, which caramelize and infuse the meat with their natural sweetness. This cooking method ensures the pork is tender and richly flavored, making it a festive favorite. Often served with sides that complement its sweet and savory profile, like coconut rice or tropical fruit salads, Hawaiian pork roast is a celebration of the flavors that define Hawaiian and broader Polynesian cuisine. This dish not only offers a taste escape to tropical islands, but also adds a colorful highlight to any dining table, perfect for gatherings that call for bold, memorable flavors. Anchovy butter steaks are a bold culinary creation, blending the umami depth of anchovies with the rich flavors of succulent steak. Popularized in mid-20th century America, this dish caters to those who appreciate daring flavor combinations. The steak, usually a marbled ribeye or sirloin, is seasoned simply and seared to perfection. The anchovy butter, a mixture of softened butter, finely minced anchovies, garlic, and occasionally a hint of lemon zest or herbs, is then slathered over the hot steak. This compound butter melts into the steak, infusing it with salty and intense anchovy flavors that enhance the natural beefiness. Here, the assertive flavor of anchovies perfectly accentuates the steak's luxurious richness, crafting a dining experience rich in both taste and elegance. Veal Prince Orloff is a lavish dish that captures the essence of French-Russian culinary elegance, named after the Russian diplomat Prince Orloff, who resided in France during the 19th century. Created by the renowned French chef Urbain Dubois, it aims to impress with its sophisticated layering and flavors. The dish features slices of roasted veal loin alternated with layers of sautéed mushrooms and onions, with slices of Mornay sauce-enriched eggplant interspersed throughout. It is then crowned with more Mornay sauce, baked until bubbly and golden. This intricate preparation not only showcases the delicate flavors of veal, but also the creamy texture of the Mornay sauce, making it a dish that stands out in both taste and presentation. Aspic glazed meatloaf is an example of mid-20th century American cuisine that combines traditional meatloaf with a gelatinous aspic topping. This dish reflects a period when aspic, a savory jelly made from clarified meat broths and gelatin, was popular in the culinary world for its ability to preserve and enhance the presentation of dishes. The meatloaf itself is typically prepared with ground meat, often a mix of beef, pork, and veal, seasoned with onions, garlic, breadcrumbs, and eggs to bind the mixture. After baking, the meatloaf is cooled and then glazed with a clear aspic made from beef or chicken stock that has been reduced and mixed with gelatin until set. This glaze not only adds a glossy, appetizing finish, but also introduces a subtle, savory flavor that complements the rich meatloaf. The aspic also helps to keep the meatloaf moist and flavorful by sealing in the juices. Turkey tetrazzini is a creamy, comforting pasta dish that features turkey, mushrooms, and parmesan, all baked to a golden finish. It was crafted by chef Ernest Arbogast at the Palace Hotel as a tribute to Italian opera singer Luisa Tetrazzini, believed to have been first made in San Francisco in the early 20th century. This dish begins by sautéing turkey and mushrooms, then melding them with a lush sauce made from butter, flour, milk, and chicken broth. The creamy mixture is then tossed with cooked spaghetti, sprinkled with Parmesan cheese, and baked until it's bubbly and golden. Turkey tetrazzini has become a classic American comfort food, especially popular for using up leftover turkey, making it a post-Thanksgiving favorite. Veal Oscar is a decadent dish featuring breaded veal cutlets topped with crab meat, asparagus, and hollandaise sauce. The dish is named after King Oscar II of Sweden, who was known for his love of fine dining and was created in the late 19th century. King Oscar II's enthusiastic patronage of the arts and fine dining inspired not only this dish, but also helped to popularize Swedish culinary traditions abroad. He was an avid gastronome and patron of the arts, inspiring this luxurious dish. The traditional preparation involves breading and frying the veal cutlets, then topping them with sautéed crab meat and steamed asparagus. The dish is finished with a rich and creamy hollandaise sauce, creating a luxurious and indulgent meal. Veal Oscar was a popular choice in high-end restaurants and special occasions where its elegant presentation was appreciated. Ham steak with pineapple is a dish that offers a delightful contrast of flavors, featuring a grilled ham steak topped with a juicy pineapple ring. This simple yet appealing dish first gained popularity in the United States during the mid-20th century, becoming a go-to for easy, satisfying dinners. The process involves grilling or pan-frying the ham steak until it's nicely browned, then crowning it with a pineapple ring and occasionally a cherry for a festive touch. The sweet and savory combination of ham and pineapple delivers a unique and enjoyable taste experience. Often accompanied by sides like mashed potatoes or green beans, ham steak with pineapple makes for a well-rounded, hearty meal. Surf and turf really takes the cake for a luxury meal, merging the delights of the sea and land by pairing a succulent steak with lobster. This gem debuted on the American dining scene back in the 60s, quickly becoming the crown jewel of fine dining. There's a bit of a toss-up about who first whipped it up, but it's usually linked to those high-end steakhouses and seafood joints. The phrase surf and turf likely popped up during that era, perfectly capturing the essence of a lavish meal. Typically, you'd find a tender beef steak, like a filet mignon, grilled to perfection next to a beautifully broiled lobster tail, all rounded off with a side of melted butter and occasionally a decadent béarnaise sauce. In the 1970s, this dish really hit its stride, especially at celebratory events or upscale eateries, becoming a symbol of the American fascination with all-out luxury dining where piling two premium ingredients onto one plate was the ultimate indulgence. Named in honor of the Italian opera singer Luisa Tetrazzini, chicken tetrazzini was reportedly whipped up by chef Ernest Arbogast at the Palace Hotel in San Francisco around the early 1900s. This dish, a testament to American culinary creativity, combines diced chicken and mushrooms with linguine or spaghetti in a sumptuous, creamy sauce that's often elevated with a splash of wine or sherry. Once assembled, it's liberally topped with grated Parmesan and baked until a golden crust forms on top. The addition of sherry or wine doesn't only boost the flavor, it also cuts through the cream's richness with its acidity. Typically, this dish is finished with a sprinkle of parsley or paprika to boost its visual appeal and add layers of subtle flavor. Despite its straightforward ingredients, chicken tetrazzini welcomes variations, such as almonds or pimentos, enhancing both its taste and texture. It's not just a delicious meal, but also a smart way to repurpose leftover chicken or turkey. Beef bourguignon is a cornerstone from Burgundy, involving marinated and slow-cooked beef chunks, typically tougher cuts like chuck, bathed in red wine, usually Burgundy, to tenderize the meat over several hours. This hearty stew is fortified with onions, garlic, and carrots, and enhanced with sautéed mushrooms and crisp lardons. Historically, this method likely evolved as a means to tenderize and enrich less desirable cuts of meat. The stew develops a rich, deep umami flavor from the Maillard reaction, which occurs as the beef browns, and the complex flavors intensify as the wine slowly melds with the herbs and vegetables. The slow cooking process not only enriches the stew's flavor, but also fills the kitchen with an inviting aromatic warmth, making beef bourguignon synonymous with comforting, rich French culinary tradition. Sole meunière is an exemplary dish that highlights the inherent flavors of its primary ingredient through a simple yet precise preparation method. This dish involves a sole fillet, lightly dusted with flour, then pan-fried in butter to a perfect golden brown. After cooking, the fillet is enhanced with a sauce of the pan's browned butter, fresh lemon juice, and chopped parsley, drizzled over the fish to amplify its delicate, sweet taste. The freshness and quality of the sole are crucial. Ideally, the fish is prepared soon after being caught, underscoring the importance of ingredient freshness in French culinary arts. The preparation focuses on preserving the fish's natural flavors, complemented subtly by the nutty browned butter and the bright lemon juice. Choosing sole, a flat fish valued for its fine texture and mild flavor, is vital as it cooks quickly and uniformly, making sole meunière a revered dish for its elegant simplicity. So, what's your favorite dinner from this list? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and see us in the next video.